Maurice here. Have you ever purchased a pre-made journal and wondered how you can make it your own? Well, I have decided to take on that challenge by purchasing this journal here. I got from Diane H, who is on YouTube, and she also has an Etsy store called Pretty Paint Cottage. I knew I wanted to try something with the November 30 Days of Grateful, so I wanted to purchase a journal that I felt that I did not have to make and that I could just plug things into and make it my own. So also with this journal, I have purchased an ephemera pack from Lynette at Cheaply Chic Boutique, and it was from her October So Blessed collection. Also, I am part of DearJulieJulie on YouTube. I am part of her Patreon, and so one thing that she offered was 30 days of gratefulness November prompts. And so I am using Julie's prompts along with, about the same time, Cara Brandon of Cara Brandon Creations also came up with her own 30 days of gratefulness prompts. And she also included a free download for the numbers for the days of the month and also some quotes that she had that were free. So I have added them into this journal, and I will link all of these Etsy sellers and YouTube channels at the bottom here of this video. So first, on this journal of Diane's, it's a one signature journal, and I might add too that this journal was called Autumn Splendor, and she used a paper pad along with an Etsy seller digitals that were from Home Book and Treasure. So on the journal here, I've added this crochet trim for a closure. Let's just take that off. So as we go along in the journal here, if I do not mention something on a page, it's because that is what Diane had already put into the journal when she made it. So on this journal card here, I did not do anything with that. Added my prompt. This is one of the numbers that came from Cara Brandon Creations, and I have used them throughout the journal. Like I added my own punch out here with some of my own orange cardstock. This page I did add this vintage brown trim here. Over on the next page, I added this leaf washi tape. Then on this side, I actually used that washi tape to hold on this vintage snap card. And it was in really fragile shape, so I went ahead and added some Mod Podge to it just to reinforce it so it wouldn't fall apart anymore. Day 2, I added this fabric ruffle here. And then from the Cheaply Chic, I added the napkin that Lynette had included in that little ephemera pack. Here I used a little piece of a mini crochet doily I have. This is one of Cara Brandon's free quotes that she included. I just added a little bit of rickrack trim and lace there and a little piece of the washi tape there. The tag here is from Cheaply Chic, and so is the napkin. And then I added some vintage trims down here and the washi tape here as well. This, I pretty much left this digital alone. So on here, if you look on the edge, there's this leaf. In the Cheaply Chic ephemera kit, Lynette had included 2 of these. One's a leaf, and here's an example of another one. It's a cupcake topper. And what I did for this was I just took out the stick and gently used my X-Acto knife and cut right along there just to split that open so I could slide in something. And then I just put a little glue on the back of it there. This card was from Cheaply Chic. I stitched around it one of Cara's prompt numbers. I just added one of the Cheaply Chic tickets, and fabric was from my own stash. Over on this page, I added a little brad. Diane's tag here. The only thing I did here was I added this little stencil to put part of my prompt answer. This page I left alone because I thought it was beautiful, as well as this one here. I did add this black tab and bulb pin and beads. I just added another tab here, and this prompt had to do with whether you're a morning or night person, and then, as you can see, even though I'm not a good drawer, you can tell I'm clearly a night person. So that's what that prompt was all about. Then on this next page, Diane had a couple fabric flips, and she originally had them attached with a little piece of this fabric here. Here's an example of that piece of pretty fabric. And so what I just did was unstitched the fabric piece she had on there, and I cut it down, just did a little hand stitching around there, and added my prompt number from Cara. So, and then I just put my answer below. And then the only other thing I did on this page is I used my decorative scissors on the edge here. I added this little safety pin on the inside here. This was a paint chip that Diane had included, so I put a poem here. This came from an Ideals magazine that I have. I have washi tape on both sides. And then again, I had just answered my prompt here. She had already done all this up here. Lynette, when she does her Cheaply Chic monthly kits, she includes a little letter. So what I did was just inked up the edges of the letter, and then this Thanksgiving wording, this came from the same Ideals magazine that I used in different spots throughout this journal. This Start Each Day with a Grateful Heart. This came from a cut apart that was in a fall paper pad that I have. This over here, the background, is from the Ideals magazine. A Stampin' Up! Stamp set, stamped it and die cut it out. And I like how that turned out. Here on Diane's fabric cluster, I just added my number 9 prompt onto the next page. Again, another poem from the Ideals magazine. And then this time I tried some of my heat embossing for this gold leaf here. Actually, I think that's copper. Yeah, copper leaf. It's might be kind of hard to tell there. Over on this page, again, I didn't do anything with that beautiful digital. Here I added a fabric pocket, 2 different trims on there. Tag came from Cheaply Chic. And originally, Lynette had a mushroom stamped on the tag. I knew I needed a lot of room to write for this particular prompt, so I went ahead and took another one of her napkins and glued it over the top, and that way it left me plenty of room on the back to write. So see, just little touches really is all it takes to make it your own. Down here for number 13, one of the Cheaply Chic tickets, and I just added a little piece of vintage lace. Here's Diane's file card. I added this paper flower that I have. And then here I just wrote right on the back. Ripped a piece of my own coffee dyed paper, glued that down, and added a piece of vintage trim. And then here's one of the fabric tabs that I put on the book. There's 3 tabs, and they all 3 match the same fabric that I used here on this pocket. Next we have some more of them leaves I cut out. Just added a piece of ribbon. And this paper placemat, I love it, but I was afraid that if I wrote on it, I was going to put a hole through it. So then on the other side, I made like a little side tuck here. And this came from the Ideals magazine. Piece of vintage trim, one of my mini crochet doilies, and a little piece of scrapbook paper there. Made this little tablet from my coffee dyed paper, added some scrapbook paper and trim, a little piece of cording, just another little place that I can write. Over on this page, I just took my marker and highlighted along those leaves there of this digital, made a faux ticket, and actually the stamp, the Don't Worry stamp, the pet paws, and also this cat, those stamps all came from a stamp set from the Stamps of Life. And the cat was actually stamped out of a manila envelope that was part of some Happy Mail I received. Like a collar here, I just put a little string and a little brad in there with Cara's prompt number. Here are 2 vintage trims. Okay, over on to day 16, some vintage trim again. Part of Happy Mail that I received. This is another cut apart from that fall paper collection I had used before. Just added a little string. This was a die cut I had from Stampin' Up, this coffee cup. You can't tell that I embossed it, but I did. Added a little trim, another one of my little punch outs that I have, one of my paper punches. I just added some trim. There's Cara's number over here. Again, I love this digital, it's beautiful, and I decided I didn't want to put anything on it. This came from some mail that I received. It just happened to have this leaf on here, so that's why I thought it would be good on this journal. Added this vintage green rickrack and another one of those kitties here. It had to do with music. Had in my stash some vintage VHS stickers, so I just put those on here and filled it out. I thought that was fun to talk about. First album I bought, and down here I added even the first cassette I bought. This had to do with listening, whether or not you listen to music in the car or something else. This came from a 6x6 paper pad by Authentique. These two pieces I layered on here are from the same paper pad. This is some vintage music paper I had, and then I just answered my question in there. And it had to do with a wish that you had. And then I don't recall where I got this cut out here, but I added this trim. And then this is from Cheaply Chic. Took the guest check, took the perforated part on the bottom and pulled that off. Went ahead and stapled it onto this side with some blue staples. And then this piece up here came from the previous Authentique paper collection. And then I added a little, looks like a little screw there, but it's actually a brad. I like how that turned out. My answer has to do with camping. So I had a 12 by 12 piece of camping paper, and I wanted to tie this together, so I took some trees from the paper and put them over here so it can blend going over this way. And then I just cut out some of the campers, made like a little road. And day 22 had to do with whether you had a favorite number. And I've never really had a favorite number, but my birthday is on the 15th. And so I found this 15th file card in my stash, added part of the Cheaply Chic napkin. This came from some mail that I had, a piece of scrapbook paper and trim that I added here. And since the number had to do with my birthday, paper punch that was balloon shaped, so I put these on there and just added a little bit of Wink of Stella on there. I don't know if you can see that shimmer or not. And then I just stitched around it. Diane's journal card here. I added this bold pen with Cara's number and this little leaf. And another Stampin' Up punch. This one has like a doily look to it. And then I did stitch around this card. And then here's more of that doily stamp. That's a really cute one. Another fabric tab. This page, again, too beautiful to touch, so I left it alone. This here obviously has to do with the prompt. It's about favorite song. I took one of my leaves that I had punched out and used a green marker to bring out some of the green from Cara's number 24 there. This page didn't really do anything, just answered the prompt, just that orange cutout. And I did use my decorative scissors on the edge here. Otherwise, this is the way Diane had originally made it. Really cute. I added this trim at the bottom, a couple layers of this old lace. This came from the Cheaply Chic ephemera kit. This heart paper clip was from my stash. And again, there's my fabric on there for that tab. Then over here, again, I left this beautiful digital alone. Then on this page, it had to do with your favorite food. Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what my favorite food is here. So I took this image from an old cookbook I have. I had some craft cardstock, and I made just a little file card, and then I have another die cut that cuts out these tabs. So I put that on there. Then let's see, up here, this sticker, I just cut it down with a paper punch I had. This came from the Cheaply Chic kit. This card is something I had in my stash. This was part of the Cheaply Chic kit. And then I just backed it onto that craft cardstock. Added this little piece of trim onto the paper clip here that's holding, let's see, day 28. Holding a little cluster I made, the Cheaply Chic ticket. And I added a little brad and some vintage trim. This one was about a favorite little fun thing that makes you happy. And this was about hanging out in my craft room. So on this one, what I did was I rough sketched the layout of my craft room onto a piece of graph paper. Then I copied that onto a piece of coffee dyed paper that I had. 29, another piece of the Cheaply Chic napkin. I added this trim and this fabric here. Just made a double pocket here from coffee dyed paper. And then this, I believe, came from the Cheaply Chic kit. I backed it onto cardstock. My last fabric tab. And then this here was part of the Cheaply Chic kit as well. And the turkey was, one half of it was here and the other half was over here. And it's one of those things where it clipped together, like a place setting type thing, I think. I'm not sure. And so what I did was I trimmed off the turkey on both sides. I kind of sanded this down because I was going to use it for something else, but you could actually turn it over and use it as a writing space too. So it's still usable there. But anyways, I took those two pieces and glued the turkey together onto the page here. And it really worked out good because it helped stabilize that paper. And then I forgot too, one of the Cheaply Chic tickets is on the underside here of the tab where that fabric is. Then on the back cover, the last two prompts for the month of November. On here, I had cut this out with a flower punch. You can't really tell, but day 29. Really cute journal card that Diane had made. And then the only thing I did on here was added another one of my mini crochet doilies, one of Cara Brandon's numbers. Then on this one, probably one of my favorite pieces that Diane put together. I love her collage work. All I did on this was put this number on. Then on the inside, this little tag. I absolutely love this little tag that Diane made. She's got so many cute layers here. So she's got like a digital piece, vintage music, ledger, a little punch out, paper doily. Looks like maybe another die cut punch out type thing. And so I just journaled on the back of there. I had a lot of fun in making it my own, and I hope to do more videos like this to show how you can take a pre-made journal and make it your own. Thank you so much for stopping in.